Is this thing on?
Hey guys, or YouTube, or whoever is gonna watch this.
Everybody.
It's good to see y'all again. Well, we won't see y'all, but y'all see us. But anyway, we
have a baby. We have a baby.
So I guess this is the official 1 week check-in after having the baby. Our little boy Cruz Alexander was born on May the 18th, and it is the next weekend after he was born. So we got I guess we have a week under our belt of parenting, or trying to be parents of a baby.
Not trying.
What's some things we've learned or can pass on to people?
So from mommy perspective, the swelling that you have in your ankles, in your hands, and all that I've kind of been talking about leading into the delivery of the baby is still here. So I wasn't fully educated that postpartum edema is going to actually stay around for a couple weeks. So I expected that I was going to pop baby out, everything was going to go back to normal, and I'm actually more swollen now than I was before. Very typical, a little bit more likely and lasts a little bit longer with a C-section than with a vaginal. So again, for me, I kind of got the double whammy, I guess. So that's one thing.
As far as I guess the father side of it, man, it's different because mommy has to do a lot with him. I mean, she's feeding him. She's like, I think we both care the same, but she's more intense with her. So, you know, whenever he sleep or whenever he whimpers, whenever anything, she like jumps at the very beginning of it. Whereas I hear him and I may go, okay, I'm gonna get him. Motherly instinct just clicks in instantly when you have a baby.
Yeah.
And fathers as well. I mean, I was overjoyed whenever we had Cruz, and it's just like you just want to make sure you're providing for him, make sure that he's taken care of, and make sure your wife's taken care of, and you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like how Cruz or how a baby's been, the first couple of days were like no sleep, like period. I mean, he'd wake up, scream, want to feed, scream. Now, I mean, for him, he doesn't like to be wet at all, so he'll scream bloody murder.
Yes.
Anytime he wets.
If he's a wet diaper, he is not happy. Yeah. If he's a poopy diaper, he can live in it for hours if you let
Which is insane. That's gross. That's more gross to me than peeing on yourself. I mean, I guess either way, both are nasty, but he can just sit there and, which we don't just let him sit there. So don't mistake us on that,
but also don't mistake that every time that we hear it, we're jumping and changing.
Yeah.
You'll see that once he's quiet and once he's still, you want to let him stay that way for a couple minutes, and once he starts getting cranky and, you know, kind of getting after it, or after it's been so long, then you can look into doing that. But, you know, you don't want to let it sit around long enough that they get a diaper rash. Yeah. But an extra 30 minutes, you know, something like that, if you see that he's resting well, let him be. You'll learn to let that stuff go way easier.
Yeah. Now, as far as feeding, he just, I guess the first couple of days he didn't really like feed all the time.
Yeah, not too bad.
After like day 4,
day 3, 4,
he just like non-stop feeding if he's awake.
Yeah, they call it cluster feeding. So it makes mommy really concerned. We're doing, our attempt was to do exclusively breastfeeding. So it makes you feel very inadequate. Like, I'm feeding and then 2 seconds later he's hungry, and I'm feeding and 2 seconds later he's hungry. It's like, is there anything coming out of there? I can't provide for my baby the way I'm supposed to. And it does make you feel very emotional, very, you know, obviously it's a very hormonal time anyway. So it's unsettling, I guess is the best word at first. But once you look into it, you just see that that's something that they do.
Yeah.
They get into this little phase where they call it marathon feeding, and they just want to feed all the time.
So fathers, you have to be really, really encouraging, really, really supportive, and really comforting during especially the first couple of weeks. Now, Selena and I are going to be off for a little while from work. She's going to be off longer than me, but I'm going to take off so I can make sure that it's a good transition between no baby to baby and then us going back to work. So
yeah.
But it's got to be a team effort. You can't just let mommy do everything.
So I would definitely encourage that. I think a lot of men don't really take heed to that paternity time, and they'll take 2 or 3 days and go back to work. It's so helpful to have that support system that help you get this thing, help you take care of this thing whenever you're first figuring it out, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's tiring and it's exhausting, and again, you're very hormonal, and it just to have somebody as your support system to really be there and help you is so helpful, not just once they get off work type of thing. So daddies, take that time to spend with your baby and your partner.
You will not regret it. I mean, just to see him, you can already see him kind of develop different things. Like, he's very strong already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just likes to push and flail and push arms and legs, and he's stubborn. So like, whenever he's on the feed, it's like somewhat like he wants to do it himself, and it's like, you're a baby, you don't know what to do. But it's like, no, I want to get in a position the way I want to get in a position. So, we're excited.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got 1 week under our belt, and we're looking for millions of weeks to go. So
I guess there's one more point I would say for both mommy and daddy, especially if you're doing breastfeeding. Get a pacifier. Okay.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yes.
I wasn't an advocate of the pacifier, and we still don't plan on keeping him on it for very long and very often. But whenever you're breastfeeding only, and he's in those marathon feeds, and it's literally 5 minutes since you put your breast away, and then he's ready again, and you've got to go pee, or you've got to go get some food. I mean, you have to make sure to take care of yourself. Go ahead and get that pacifier. There's a lot of people that talk about nipple confusion and not introducing that yet. He's not confused. He knows when mommy is there, and he knows when that breast milk is there, and he knows whenever it's his passy. So if it gives you 5 minutes of silence to go and use the potty, do that. Don't feel guilty about that.
I mean, so what we do right now is actually, she'll breastfeed, and then she pumps, and then I'll actually, most of the time, I'll try to use the bottle, so that way he knows daddy's bottle feeding me and mom has the good stuff. So, and then he does know the difference between pacifier, because he'll have a pacifier in his mouth sometimes and he'll spit it out. He's like, that's not what I want. I want some milk. So give me some milk and I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess, that's
it.
The only thing is like sleep. Like, you have to like learn how and when to get your child to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I mean, we learned that. What was it, day 5?
Yeah, we've already kind of figured out a sleep pattern now of how to keep it. We have like 2 or 3 times during the night that we wake up. Usually between like 11 and 7 or 8.
Yeah.
He'll get up 2 or 3 times, which isn't bad this early on.
That's fine.
But at first, we were getting up every few minutes, and
we didn't sleep at all.
Yeah. So the key that we found is that you want to try to keep them awake as long as possible until you're about to go to bed.
Yeah.
So tucker them out. Keep them awake. Make sure shake them, talk to them.
Not shake.
Not shake them.
Don't shake.
Bounce them.
Bounce. Shake was not a good word. Bounce.
But keep them awake, keep them alert, doing whatever it is that they may be interested in as long as you can before you go to bed yourself. Or if you see them going down sooner, adjust your schedule and you go down sooner.
Exactly.
So that whenever they lay down, you're going to get a good little 2 or 3 hours, and that way you can start having it together. And keeping them up and tiring them out makes them sleep longer. So
yeah. So
so you're more sane.
We feel even if we don't sleep a straight 6, 7, 8 hours, we're getting 2 and 3 hours, splits of sleep. So it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not the same as sleeping on, but it's better than no sleep. So anyway, like I said, that's our 1 week check-in. If y'all have any comments or questions, we are most definitely open because, whoa, it's a big step being parents.
Yes. Ladies, if you have any C-section questions, I can tell you all about that now. So definitely want to be able to share those types of things. I didn't really have a lot of people around me that, could share some of those things with me. So I'm totally an open book when it comes to that. So shout your questions, y'all.
Yep. So we'll catch y'all later. Peace out.
Say peace out.
Yeah, have a good one.